Yeah. I the only thing that comes to my mind is, amazing things, of course, but then I also think of what are the implications of having thought maps of people, and just to think of that. What are the implications that that will generate, and what ethical conversations you could have to make sure that this is used in the proper way? Because, you know, one thing is to share, but the other thing is that people actually know your thoughts. And having that map is basically giving your thoughts to the world. And you know do, how is that information going to be used, right? And I'm just curious, right? We complain about Facebook having all our data, giving our data away to people. Like, how is this not going to become something like that, right? I know
It,
that's
it
not your intention, but if it grows, like, how do you make sure that someone doesn't just buy you out and use all that information to, I mean, it's just, what are the implications? That's what I'm asking you, right?
Yeah, no, I totally appreciate you going in those directions. So the first thing I'm going to say for context, as I always do, is I'm just going to give you my best thought, but that's why I'm opening up those questions to the world leaders. Let's have the top people on the planet hosting a conversation around this, with people like you and others giving input at town halls and whatever it takes to have the world have the conversation around what you're saying, to have, some world level, top level system that addresses that for this. And that's the answer for every part of this, right? So that's the ultimate answer. But I'll just tell you from my personal feeling, the way that I'm tending to feel right now, and I haven't really totally thought it through, but I think what we're going to do, at least to begin with, is, first of all the information that everybody gives into the system is totally opt-in. So that everybody knows that, whatever they're doing in the system is what they're doing out in public, basically.
And is the feedback like, like star reviews, like, or you just give like from 1 to 5 inspiring, like someone says 4 or 3, is that feedback public? Like, can you see what people gave you per person, or is it going to be more of like an aggregate
No,
of the
it's
average?
per person. That's the thing. It's always about people saying how they feel about things,
Everyone's showing who they are.
being honest and authentic. Like, if you don't want to say it in public, then don't say it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this is your chance to say publicly what you want to say, basically, right? And we're making up the data of all these people that have all of these things to say about all these things. And you don't have to say anything about what you don't want to, but you got plenty to say about things that you want to.
Right.
So it's just people being public about what they say and what they think, because they want to influence people the way they think ultimately. And that's where this is like the
Yeah,
ultimate influencer tool.
to stop being anonymous on the internet, because that's the thing. Everybody acts like they're anonymous, and especially in platforms where you don't have to show your identity, or you might just put a random profile picture. Nobody knows who you are. So now in this case, like, if you're gonna participate, you have to identify yourself and, show who you are to make sure that you have any credibility.
It's all living by example, because you're just going to end up being the way that you're being. People are going to tend towards how they are. They're just going to have to come to the reality that the world is going to know who they are. And that's a real big challenge for a lot of people. So there is a lot of support required. A lot of people are shudder at the idea of that level of exposure. And I totally understand. I've been preparing myself mentally. That's where I'm headed towards, is just having cameras on me 24/7, being an example, because, that's the way that I personally want to live my life. Is that I want to be able to be an example. Any ways that I'm falling down, any ways I can use support, I want support to show up and support me there. I'm open to all of the support. And so I'm showing like the deepest, I've made some videos about some of the deepest, starkest, shameful things I feel right now that I'm about to make public very soon. Because again, I feel like as I'm working to really birth, these big ideas into the world, the light that I want on them, I essentially have to shine, on everything else, and just be out there with everything, and not say I'm perfect and I have all the answers and I'm a great example for everything. There's a lot of ways you don't want to follow my examples, but let's learn together. I'm on a journey to heal all of those things. I have something so important to share with the world that I can't let all that crap hold me back anymore. I've got to get this out, and I need to just be bare with everything and let everyone support me finally. And the idea of this system is to collect all of that data so that we can help support people at the individual level. This is actually more of like a concierge service where we know who you are and we work with you individually to support you in being able to be your fullest divine self. And it's not, and everything, basically, again, the way that I'm seeing it right now, people choose what information they want to make public. And when they make that public, then they have access to everyone else who made that information public. So that's the incentive for you to opt into that piece of information, because now you can see what the whole world looks like with that information as well. It's like you're
all the info without you putting your info.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's
you can't. Yeah, you can't see it unless you opt in and you just are a participant in that system.
Yeah, that's very smart. That way, yeah, I like that. Okay.